Hi everybody, welcome back to Oceanery today, where we're going to be talking about canaries and using them as foster parents for our finches. So to begin with, what are foster parents? So this is a method used to rear chicks or eggs by removing them from their biological parents and placing them under the care of another pair of birds of the same or a different species. And this is usually used to guarantee a higher rate of success. The two most commonly used species for fostering finches in captivity are canaries, suited to rearing finches from the Fringillidae family, which occur generally throughout Europe, and Bengalese, also known as society finches, for rearing finch chicks from the Estrellidae family, which are generally found in Australia and Asia. So of course today we're talking about using canaries as foster parents. So generally you want to use lighter breeds as fosters. That can be things like the Irish Fancy or the Fife Canary, or sometimes you can use crossbred canaries built from the larger breeds. And the reason for this is they have more vigour about them, and this makes them better foster parents than some of the pure larger breeds like the Norwich or the Border. So how do we get canaries to be used as foster parents? Well, the first thing is, of course, getting them to go to nest. But assuming that they have gone to nest, you want the pair of canaries as feeder parents and the pair of biological parents you're going to foster the chicks from to be in sync. So they either want to be incubating their eggs at a similar time or rearing chicks of a similar age or size. Where both pairs of birds are incubating their eggs, it's generally a much simpler process. You can either replace the canary eggs with the fostered finch eggs, assuming that they're at similar stages of development within incubation, or in the case that a canary has laid a smaller clutch of perhaps only 3 to 4 eggs, you can add an additional 1 or 2 fostered finch eggs that are once again at a similar developmental stage in incubation without much concern or disruption. If you're fostering an entire clutch of finch eggs underneath a pair of canaries, it's important to replace the real eggs with some fake dummy eggs, just like this one for the finch hen. This will allow her to have, number 1, a break from egg laying, and 2, follow the natural process of incubation. Some breeders prefer to have their canaries sat on entire clutches of fake eggs, and the reason for this is it allows the canaries to take any chicks or eggs at any given time without having to worry about the incubation of their own eggs. The way of performing this is when each individual egg is laid by the canary, you replace it with a pot egg. Once the full clutch of 5 or 6 eggs has been laid, she will then begin incubation and no development will occur, of course, because these are dummy eggs. Where a canary is already rearing chicks of her own, she can be very useful as a foster parent. If you have an abandoned finch chick that for some reason has been left by its mother, you can place it in the nest of canaries, and quite often this is a very successful way of rearing that chick. It provides the fact that you need to make sure that this chick is of a similar size to the canary chicks. It will then blend in with the nest and be fed by the canary, generally without any problems, and will be able to compete for food as it should do. Only last week did I use this method myself successfully in my bird room. So we have a pair of canaries down there rearing a chick that last week was 5 days old, and equally we have a group of redpolls colony rearing a nest of 5 redpoll chicks. Now, one of the redpoll chicks was the youngest. It was essentially the runt of the litter. I found it on the floor at 5 days old, stone cold and not moving. I managed to warm it up, revive it, and popped it in that nest down there. And now, a week later, that chick is about 2 weeks old nearly. It's been fostered absolutely fine. The canary hen took it as one of her own, and we saved the life of that finch chick, all because the canary did her job. You need to consider the dietary requirements of the finch chicks prior to the breeding season and prepare your foster canary parents appropriately. So if you're a chaffinch breeder and knowing that chaffinch chicks need a lot of live food when they're being reared, then you need to make sure that your canaries are prepared to eat and then feed mealworms or maggots or whatever that live food may be before the breeding season. So by the time it comes to those chaffinch chicks needing to be fostered under a pair of canaries, then there won't be any hiccups and it will all go smoothly, all going well. Using canaries as feeders is a controversial subject within aviculture. My preference is to use it as a last resort where otherwise eggs or chicks would simply not survive. This is because I like to encourage my native finches to rear their own chicks, and hopefully it should create a line of better parents. That being said, I always have canaries on standby in case of emergency. A common concern is what if the fostered finch species pick up traits from the foster canary parents, and while that's something of concern and should always be considered, in my experience at least, I've always found that when rearing and then weaning those chicks to approximately 30 days old, reintroducing them with their own species, then generally that problem is eliminated and shouldn't be of too much concern. Anyway, everyone, that's all we've got time for this week, so I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode and found it useful. So if you have, please make sure to smash a like on this video, subscribe down below, follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok for daily updates and behind the scenes footage of all of our birds. Now, thank you very much for watching once again. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.